You've asked the universe for what you want, but days, weeks, months, or even years have passed and nothing has shown up. You're thinking positive, visualizing, doing the inner work, but deep down, you're starting to wonder, is this ever going to happen? But what if the reason that it hasn't arrived has nothing to do with your timing and everything to do with something that's been completely overlooked? Hey guys, if you're new here, my name's Dipesh. I've spent the last 7 years in the personal development world, growing, teaching and learning, and it's been super interesting to see that the more success that I've seen, either my own or with those around me, the more it's become evident that most people think that manifestation is about asking and waiting, but it's just not how it works. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 key things that you need to be implementing from today, and the 5th one is one that no one seems to be talking about. So the first thing you need to be aware of is when you are potentially doubting the thing that you've asked for, doubting this idea of whether it's actually going to come to you, doubting whether it's possible, doubting whether you think you are capable of receiving it, good enough to have it, worthy enough to be of receipt of whatever it is you want. So whether it's a relationship, a job, more money, it doesn't matter. If there is doubt, there is room for negative energy to come through. You have to remember that when you're trying to manifest anything, there can be no room for doubt. There can be no room for this feeling that it's not going to be possible. Because having doubt or any other negative emotion around it is a signal to the universe that you don't really believe that you were capable of receiving this in the first place. You see, we all have thoughts, feelings, beliefs, assumptions, and perceptions around how the world works. And it's a combination of things that we've been conditioned with since we were young. If we are not aware of what that conditioning looks like, those feelings, thoughts, emotions, they tend to take up our mental space. And if those thoughts are at the forefront of your mind, that's the energy that gets carried forward. So all of our thoughts, feelings, emotions, perceptions, they all carry energy. And if doubt ends up being at the forefront of your mind, that's what's being instructed into you. And then the world around you mirrors that doubt. So then you start experiencing things that reinforce the idea that you should be doubting whether you were capable enough to get the thing that you wanted in the first place. Now, the opposite of doubt is to have faith. Faith in the idea that what you have asked for, it's on its way to you. Faith in the idea of a divine plan or the fact that the universe is working for you. But doubt and faith cannot exist at the same time because one will always cancel the other out. The second thing you need to become aware of is focusing too much on the how, the process. When you ask for an end result, we, by default, as human beings, tend to get into, well, how is this going to happen? For example, if you're someone that's currently earning $2,000 a month, but you want to get to earning $10,000 a month, automatically your mind starts going into, how am I going to do that? You're going to start thinking about the different career choices. You're going to start thinking about the different jobs you can do. You're going to start thinking about how many additional hours you need to work to be able to get to that 10,000. And what that does is it drives you away from the vision of what you wanted, the result of what you wanted, directly into the process. And when that happens, you're actually no longer focused on your result. What you're now focused on is a process. And what that process does is it keeps you stuck in the current reality way of thinking. Because the process that you've been following at the moment is the process that has got you to the result that you're in right now. But for you to be able to achieve the result that you want, the chances are it's going to require a completely different process, and it's not going to be an extension of what you're already doing. This can trip up a lot of people because by human nature, we're designed to think about how something might be able to materialize. So the trick here is, instead of focusing on how you think you're going to get there, is to actually spend more of your time, energy, and effort in the energy and the vibration of the result you want to create. What that means is get into the feeling as if your result already exists. And when you do that, your energy starts to shift. By doing so, you then carry on with your day-to-day tasks in that energy. So If having the result makes you feel incredible, overjoyed, elated, whatever the words might be, and whatever that energy might be, you want to take care of your day to day actions in that energy, in that emotion. And that's where the magic lies, because when you start doing that, all of a sudden your energy starts to attract the right people, the right circumstances, the right opportunities, and a lot of the times, the right intuitive thoughts and ideas and inspiration that are going to take you to your result faster than you focusing on a process that you think is going to get you there faster. By focusing on the energy and the emotion of the result that you want, embodying it, and then living that way, what you're doing is you're bringing yourself into alignment. So, this is where you are right now. This is where your result is. And by you living in the space of this result already existing, you are changing your emotional state on a daily basis, sometimes hourly. And that naturally will start creeping up to this level. And in that process, the how will effectively reveal itself. Remember that your job is not to figure out the process, your job is to figure out how to stay aligned to the result that you want. The how then gets an opportunity to reveal itself to you. The third thing that you need to become aware of is that you cannot have the new life or new result that you want if you are showing up as your old self. There is a complete mismatch. There is no alignment. There isn't going to be any energetic coherence when that happens. To get what you want, you have to be willing to let go of who you currently are. This becomes a lot harder because we can become so attached to our identity, to our way of life, to our thoughts, our feelings, our belief. It's very similar to if you were going to go to the gym or if you wanted this ideal physical body and physical result. You aren't going to get that result if you carry on the old eating patterns and habits of where you are currently. Likewise, you're not going to become the person that earns millions and millions of dollars a year if your work ethic is tied into this identity of someone who is lazy, who can't be bothered, who doesn't feel like they want to pay attention, who doesn't feel like they want to give 110% effort, energy to the outcome that they actually want. When you ask for something from the universe doesn't just go, here you go. The universe goes, here's the things you need to do in order to become the person that deserves the result that you asked for in the first place. And think of it like the universe is testing you. And each obstacle that you get is a test that you have to go through and pass to level up so that you can become more aligned to the person that deserves the result in the first place. The fourth thing is that you have to act as if it's already yours. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to fake anything. This doesn't mean that you have to become a false version of yourself. But what it does mean is that you have to become internally the person that 100% believes that this thing that you want is already on its way. It's just a question of what day is it going to appear. And you might not know the timing, and that's fine, but it's having this uncompromising belief that the result is on its way to you. It's already done. The minute you ask for it, it's actually already in motion. And now what you're allowing yourself is the time to align yourself to that energy for it to be in your possession, to be in your vicinity. It's like how Charles Kettering said that you have to believe and act as if it was impossible to fail. And in the same way, you've got to take your belief in your ability to manifest and live the life that you want as if it's impossible for you to fail, as if that life was meant for you regardless. And something that I've experienced and learned over the last decade or so is you won't be given any kind of vision or insight or idea in your mind that wasn't meant for you in the first place. That wasn't meant for you in the first place. I completely believe that every idea or insight or intuitive gut feel that you get that something was meant for you was given to you because it's a glimpse into your capability. It's a glimpse into your true self. And it's a glimpse into, it's this idea that actually you're meant for so much more than what you might currently believe. And I don't mean that in a way of, oh, you're not doing enough. I mean that in a way where if there's a part of you that believes you deserve more, then I'm telling you, I guarantee that you deserve more. Otherwise, you wouldn't have thought it in the first place. And when you start to act as if that is true and that is the only truth, you again will start changing your energy. You will start realigning yourself to a version of you that does exist, and it's just currently in transit on the way to you. So the fifth and final thing that I want to share with you today is the one thing that I believe no one talks about. And this is the exchange that is required for you to receive what you have asked for. So if you think about when you go to a coffee shop, you go to the counter, you order your coffee, and you go and sit down. There is not a single part of you at any point that starts wondering, is this coffee actually going to make its way to me? Did the server forget? You kind of just sit there knowing that the coffee is on its way to you, and it's just a question of when it's going to get to you. Generally, should be in a couple of minutes. Your manifestations work in exactly the same way, which is once you've asked for something, you are now in the process of waiting for that thing to appear and materialize for you. The key point of difference here is that, taking the coffee shop analogy, when you got to the coffee shop, you placed your order, you then paid for your coffee. There was an exchange of energy in some way or form. Everything in the world is energy. Money is part of everything, and therefore money is a form of energy, and that is the energy that is the energy that was exchanged in the process of you receiving your coffee. If you have asked for something, if you have been waiting patiently for that thing to come into your life, and you're still sitting here wondering, why isn't it here? Then I am telling you, the thing that you're waiting for is not going to be in your possession until the relevant exchange has happened. That energy exchange could be putting in more time. It could be putting in more effort. It could be requiring a payment of some kind. It could be that you have to go and learn a new skill. Whatever that thing is, the reason the manifestation has not appeared yet is because the payment has not been made. And like I mentioned in the previous point, that payment could be needing to let go of your old self. That payment could be that exchange could be in the form of you needing to let go of fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, or any other negative emotion that might be taking up headspace that's actually directing the energy that you are emitting into the world and attracting events into your life that actually you don't want. The truth is that until you make that exchange, you're basically just window shopping for your dreams. Think about it this way. Imagine walking down a high street and you walk across a department store. In the window display across that department store are every single one of your dreams. Until you go inside and make that exchange, you're basically just window shopping. So if you're still wondering why your manifestation hasn't yet arrived, a more powerful question could be, have I made the exchange necessary to get my manifestation? Manifestation isn't just about waiting, it's about aligning, becoming, and exchanging. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you wish for, it responds to who you are. So if it's feeling a little bit delayed, maybe it's not lost. Maybe it's just waiting for you to show up as the version of yourself that's ready to receive. If this shifted something in you, make sure you hit subscribe and check out the other videos in my channel. See you on the next one. Stay visionary.